Hi, I'm Kat and I play Red. Yes, it is a Christmas movie, and yes, that is a hill I'm prepared to die on. It's not Christmas until we see Hans Gruber fall from the top of the Nakatomi Tower. Die Hard, the board game. Produced by the OP Games. Die Hard is the film in a board game, and it's a Christmas film, so it's a Christmas game. So let's have a look at how it plays. In Die Hard, the Nakatomi Heist board game, one player will take on the role of John McClane, whilst any other players will be Hans Gruber and his henchmen. So if you're playing with more than 2 players, this will become a one against many game. The game is played over 3 acts, using the board in a very clever way that we'll look at when we don't have a load of stuff on it. The way John McClane and the thieves play is very different. In each scenario, John has a series of objectives to complete before he can escape the level, whereas the thieves have an overall objective, picking all the locks, and then they have some smaller objectives that will give them bonus actions in that scenario. In this video, we're just going to have a look at the first act so that you can discover the rest for yourself. For the first scenario, John needs to find the machine gun, find the radio, and acquire some shoes that don't fit. You must do all of this without running out of cards. If the deck of cards ever runs out, John will suffer a fatal blow, he'll die, but more importantly, he'll lose the game. John will draw 5 cards whenever the player's hand is empty. You'll play 1 card a turn until 2 remain in your hand. At that point, you'll discard the 2 and draw 5 new ones. Beware though, because cards put in your discard pile won't automatically come back into play for the other acts. Right, let's 5 cards in hand. Both teams will choose and place a card at the same time. So let's have a look. Place a card face down, and John will reveal and complete his actions first. The actions on the cards are fairly similar for both teams, with each team having a few sneaky little moves. So here we can move and shoot, which are 2 of the basic actions. Move. Move is move 1 space. Simple. So here I can move 2. You can move 1 space in any direction, not diagonal. These dark grey spaces here will cost you 2 to move through. If you finish a move action on one of your objective tiles, you're going to take that tile, oh look, machine gun, pop it wherever it belongs, onto an objective or into your area. If you land on an opponent's objective, you just leave it there. To shoot, you must be at least 1 space away from an enemy. You must have a straight line of sight, and your aim is to roll that number or higher. So in this case, I'd need to roll a 4 or higher to shoot the thief. So that's 5. Yay. So I shoot the thief they're removed from the game. However, this objective, I'm trying to find the shoes that don't fit. So I'm going to pop his lifeless corpse there so that I can steal his shoes. If you shoot a thief, they're removed from the game. If John, however, gets shot, you're going to take the top card from your draw pile and put it into the discard pile. You can also punch opponents. So to do this, you must be in a space next to them, not diagonal. Let's see, have I got a punch card? Yep, I've got a punch card. So here I'd need to roll a 4 or higher to successfully punch an opponent. Same again, one punch and a thief is out of the game. If John gets punched, you're going to lose a card from your deck. John McClane has also got some special actions that are only available to him. So this card here has the sneak action. Sneaking means I can walk through obstacles, I can walk through thieves without them noticing, and I can't be hit for the round, which is pretty cool. Also, John can shove thieves. So here we have the shove action. I'm adjacent to a thief. If I roll a 2 or more, I'm going to push them one space out of my way. In later rounds, there are other actions that come up. You can use the radio for support, but primarily these are your important actions. So John McClane is going to turn over his card, do the actions. We're in Act 1, so here I'd get a shove 2 and a move 2. And that's John's turn. Done. How you play as the thieves will depend on how many players there are, but essentially the thieves will always end up with 3 face down cards. Now, no one will know what the values on or actions are on all 3 of the cards. So these will be revealed, and the first thing we're going to do is put them in numerical order. Now the numerical order depends on the white number, so this doesn't count as a 15, it actually counts as a 5. So we're going to have 5, 5, 9. We're then going to take these top 2 cards and use them as unlock actions. So we have a 5 and a 9. Now this is our current lock we're trying to break. Over the course of the game, you're going to have a series of locks with a series of different numbers of cards with different numbers. Now, if I had a 5 and a 9 adjacent to each other, anywhere here, I'd be allowed to put cubes on both numbers. However, I don't, but I do have a 5, so I can pop that there. Then the thieves will get to do the actions on the middle card. So in this case, it's punching and shooting. As you can see, the actions are all very similar to John McClane. Moves, punches, shoots. However, another action the thieves have is, let's pop that there, lock. So in this case, as well as the lock, according to the numbers, if I had this as actually the middle action card, which it wouldn't be because of the number, but never mind, I would be able to unlock an additional number on here. So we'd put a cube there. Once we have cubes on all of these 8 numbers, we would remove these cards and move on to lock 2, which again is 2 cards. Pop them there, and of course we have a 9 and a 5 next to each other there. And as the game goes on, you're going to try to do all 6 of these locks. The bonus actions that we have here. So if you manage to get thieves on 2 of John McClane's objectives, you're going to get some lock actions. If you manage to capture hostages, you're going to get extra lock actions. So the objectives for the thieves here are kind of minor. It's really working on the locks here is what the thieves need to do to win the game. The tiles here have all got things relative to the scenario. So these would be hostages. John's ones, oh, there's the radio, so we'd find the radio. This would be a wound to John, so he'd have to discard a card. So the chips for each round, you can see these have got 1 because they're for the first act. These are all relative to the scenario. When John has completed all of the objectives and made it to the goal square on the board, the scenario will end. He'll leave the floor and we'll go into the second act. We've also got vents here, of course, and windows and various other things which progress over the course of the game. So the vents will allow you to move from this spot to this spot. The windows become more important later in the game. No spoilers here, but they're also there. So this is the first act. So as you can see, it's quite small. It gives you a feel for how the game plays. Some of these objectives will carry over into the next act. The machine gun will give you ammunition that you can use in later rounds. Once you've found the radio, you can radio down to Roy for support, and he'll give you extra bonuses on your attacks. So some of these will stay with you and some of them will be discarded. Same for the thieves. The one here, you're trying to damage John McClane. That will carry on throughout the game, but these move and you'll get some new scenarios. The board will then change. We'll quickly show you that because this is so clever. Here is your board for Act 2. So it gets bigger, you've got new objectives for both groups and a new board. And then the third and final scenario, whoop, here you go, is much bigger. So this is a very clever use of the board. It also follows the storyline of the film. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you have. At the end of the round, let's go back to Act 1. At the end of Act 1, any cards John McClane has got, any cards in his hand are going to be discarded. Let's say we've played those. Any cards left in hand are discarded. Any cards left in the draw pile get discarded. And the played cards will be shuffled in with the cards for Act 2 to form a new draw pile. So you really need to think about what cards you're discarding because you may or may not get them back. There is an action that John has called Recover that allows you to draw the top card from the discard pile and place it in your hand, which can be very handy to keep your hand going a bit longer and to get cards back. So this is how easily John can run out of cards. The game will end either when John completes his objectives in Act 3 or when the thieves have worked through all of the locks and gained access to the safe. We love Die Hard. We love the film. In fact, we're watching it this Christmas Eve with some friends who've never seen it. Can you believe that they're our friends and they've never seen it? This use of the board is really clever. I like the fact things are constantly evolving, things are constantly changing, and it plays through the film really well. In the last act, we introduced the Hans Gruber miniature. Very cool. So thematically, this game is spot on. It plays really nicely at all of the player counts. It plays 2 to 4, though the way the thieves work is slightly different. If you're playing one player as the thieves, they'll have a look at one card from the deck, put that face down, take one blindly, and they'll choose one card to play. If you have 2 players playing as the thieves, they both put down cards and you have one random from the top, but they're not allowed to discuss what cards they're playing. So you never really know what's coming up with the thieves. And as I showed you there, even early game, you can end up not managing to do the 2 locks that you really want to do every turn. It's really neat. It's a great film. It's a great game. Happy Christmas! Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Die Hard from the OP Games. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do by now. Click like, subscribe. Come and say hello on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at iPlayRed. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.